Hey everyone, my name is Brandon Morgan and I am the instructor for this course. In this video, I wanted to give you a quick tour of our course here in Canvas, just so that you can get a sense of kind of what I'm thinking in terms of the course design and how things are set up. So I want to make sure that everyone can navigate the course well and get started hitting the ground running. So you'll notice that I have this on student view. This homepage should look familiar. This is the homepage for our course in Canvas. I am going to post a link, probably embed the video here once I'm done recording it, just so that you can watch it right as you get started. But please do click on the information here in the professor's contact info and my introduction. I've also posted a video intro on the discussion board where all of you will be completing your introductions this week. But here, along with my email address, my Twitter handle, my phone number where you can text me and all those kinds of things, I also have some information about my response time, about the late policy, and important things like that. So please do check that out. As you scroll down, I'm going to come back to this image in just a second and click on it. This is how you will enter the course every time that you come in here. Please do note that I have to update this manually. So like it says, you'll enter the course at the current module. I'm usually fairly good about that, but sometimes I get a little behind. So just do pay attention to that. Here's the course description that I have also in the syllabus, and then my contact information at a glance. My office hours are Monday mornings, 9 to 11. This link is a screen sharing platform that we can use to talk to each other, has audio, video, and screen sharing capabilities. If you can't meet during that time and you would like to schedule an appointment, just let me know and we can set something else up. All right, scrolling back up. Let's see, I'll just go ahead and click on the image. And as it's set now, you'll enter in Module 1, and this is where you will get started on the coursework. I've designed the modules so that you just scroll down and everything is just here on this page. So you'll read through the objectives, you'll read through the introduction. This is my kind of explanation in terms of how the course is structured, the assignments we'll be doing, why we're really focusing on reading books. You probably noticed there are a lot of books for this class. One of the things as a history and social sciences student that I experienced as an upper division student and as a grad student was the expectation that I could read a book for its arguments, that I could identify where an author was using source evidence versus where they were presenting interpretations. Sometimes that is very straightforward, but a lot of times it isn't. And so those are some skills that I want us to work on together in this class as we study the history of the border. So we're focusing on the historical construction of the border, how we've kind of gotten to where we are today, and we will do that while focusing on that academic skill of reading a book critically and writing critically about it. As you go along, there are links here where you can read the course syllabus, links to all of the different assignment types so that you can read through those instructions and just get to understand what the requirements are. And again, please remember that I'm showing you, everything we're doing this semester, so don't get overwhelmed. Remember, we have a whole semester to complete this work. As appropriate, I've included video tutorials for using things like Twitter. This one, there's a video tutorial for using, or at least getting started with WordPress for a blog site. As noted here, this was a video I made for a Latin American Studies course. So skip over the first several minutes till you get to the actual tutorial part. This describes the final project. And then finally, this is where you will click and go to the discussion board to present your introduction to the class. And this gives you the prompt for what you need to respond to there. And you'll note one thing I want to emphasize with the course design, as with much technology, there are several different ways of doing the same thing. And so I just wanted to leave all of that open to you so that you can find the path best, or through the course that best works for you. So if you click this link, for example, this will take you to the thread on the discussion board where you'll see the prompt and where you'll be able to submit your own introduction to the rest of us. Notice that I've already submitted my video intro there, so you can just click reply and submit your own once you get there. You could also have just clicked the discussions tab here on the side, and I've only published the ones that are done thus far, so I've gotten through module 3 thus far, but I'll be completing these within the next couple of weeks so that everything will be here for you. But you could just go to the hello, my name is, that's the introduction discussion forum, and again, that gets you back to the same spot. It's loading the replies, there it is. So that's why I've left some of these tabs here for you. As long as you go through the front page to get to things, noting what date it is and where we are in the course schedule, you can click on the image to enter the current module and follow along. You'll be on track. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of this one. So again, the assignments for the first module are just to get to understand the syllabus and the course requirements, introduce yourself to the rest of us, and then get started with Twitter. So there are a couple of goals with this Borders pre-test, as I've called it. One is to just make sure that everybody's up and running on Twitter, that we get accustomed to using the course hashtag, which is #HIST416, whether you're in the poli-sci or criminal justice section of the course, or whether you're in the graduate student 516 part, we'll all be using the same hashtag. What you'll do is just explain your definition of borders and kind of what brings you to the study of borders. You can read through that there, and that's how we'll get started thinking about how we should approach the study of the US-Mexico border. At the bottom of each module is this self-assessment and looking ahead section. Basically, it just gives you the checklist over again of everything you needed to complete to make sure that you've done it all before you move on. Then, of course, you can click Next, and that will take you to the next one. So in terms of the general way that I've organized these, each module has this intro and objective section that explains the readings and the historical focus that we'll have that week, or the thematic focus that we'll have during that module. And as you scroll down, you will see the objectives. Then you will see a list of the readings. For module 2, you just click on these, they open in a new tab. These are not the assigned books, just for this module. Every other module will have one of the assigned books that you purchased. This time around, these are PDFs of different kind of formative ways of thinking about the border from a scholarly perspective. And so you'll read those. There are some optional readings, and as you scroll down, you'll see what I've called videos, podcasts, multimedia. These are additional websites, podcasts, and videos that are not specifically required, but if you have time to watch them or to go through them, they do provide additional perspectives on what we're learning about and can help you address any questions that you have about the material that we've read. Scrolling down, this reminds you to complete your reading tweets, and it gives you the due date. There's the discussion prompt and a link that will take you here. This link takes you to the instructions for the discussion board assignments. This one takes you to the module 2 discussion, which again, if you were to come up here and click on discussions, you could get there that way as well. Sorry for so much scrolling here. Then, as promised, there's another self-assessment and looking ahead section. I want to show you one last one, just because the modules that are split into 3.1, 3.2, 4.1, 4.2 follow the pattern that we'll have for the most part when we're reading one of the assigned books that you've purchased, either at the bookstore or through Amazon, or however you've done that. As usual, there's the intro and objective section, but this time it's telling you we're reading this book. We're not dividing it into specific sections for the first week and then reading the rest the second week. Instead, during the first week, you'll be going through the book looking for arguments, methodology, and sources. That will be our focus during the first week. There's some videos here of the author, Brian DeLay, giving a talk, a couple of multimedia sites that provide more information about the war. The reading tweets section, again, as I mentioned. And then this discussion, the prompt reminds us that for this week, we will be focusing on the methodology, the arguments, the sources, the way that Brian DeLay interpreted those sources in order to make an argument and make a point. That's what we'll be doing with that discussion. Again, similar pattern of the module, and then as you go to 3.2, and I promise I'll end here because this shows you the basic structure once we're done here. 3.2, again, there's the intro, and we're reading War of a Thousand Deserts, but as it explains there, we're thinking now about the historical narrative, the specific stories and events and people that Brian DeLay presents to us in this book, and what those tell us about the formation of the US-Mexico border. Scrolling down, on the second week, rather than a discussion, you have a blog post to complete. So this is completed on that blog that you created during the first module, during the first week. And here you will write, you can click there to see the guidelines for the blog posts. That gives you the length requirements and everything. And then this prompt will give you a starting point for what to write on your blog. All right, and as you'll notice, there's no next. I've completed the course and it's open for you through 3.2. I'll be continuing and completing the rest of it over the next couple of weeks. All of the information, the assignments, the modules will be in place with plenty of lead time for you to complete the work. Going over here, so let's pretend that there's a week that I forgot to update the image on the front page. So remember, again, you hit the landing page, you click on my photograph of the Nogales port of entry that I took a couple years ago, but it doesn't go to the right place because you've looked at the schedule and the syllabus and you know that we should be on module 3.2, but it only goes to 3.1, for example. You can click modules and you can skip to the one that we're on. So again, like I said, if we're on 3.2, you just click there and you get to the right place. All right, so that should look familiar from what I just showed you. Similarly, with the assignments, if you want to complete one of the, any of these categories, there's nothing actually to complete for the Module 2 tweets, but this will show you the assignments in the order that they're due with their due dates so that you can go to them directly. So blog post 1, that was one of the last things I showed you. You can either get there through the module or through the assignments. Please do note that sometimes there's a lot more contextual information about the assignment in the module than I've provided in this brief assignment description. So it's a good idea to look at both, but these are two ways to get there. Finally, the syllabus tab. There's a link to the syllabus in the first module, but here you can get there. This is the Google Docs version of the syllabus. If you need to have a static PDF version because you don't have as good of an internet connection or something at that moment, you can click that one. They're both the same thing. And then these are each of the assignment instruction types. So you can get there, and then there's a summary, again, of the list of assignments and when they're due. All right, so I think those are the most important things that you'll need. Please do take advantage of the tutoring options that are here if you need those. Our course is reading and writing intensive. It's a history, social science course, political science, and criminal justice. So again, we'll be doing a lot of reading, a lot of writing, and a lot of analyzing information that we have on the story of the border to help us better understand the current situation that we're facing as a nation that so often has focused on the border. We're in the middle of a government shutdown right now because of Donald Trump's demand to have a border wall. So once we look at the history, we'll be able to evaluate um, kind of the relative merits, we'll say, of that demand at this current time. All right, so I look forward to doing all of this work with you over the next couple of months, several months. Please don't hesitate to ask questions whenever you have them. I'm always more than happy to help out in any way that I can. And I hope that you're having a good first week of classes.